work with you more closely? Are there any structured programs for you to support us? Thank you.
In fact, of late I realized that what we lack in our country is a lot of incubation centers and startups. Unless we have incubation centers and startups, we will not be able to engage our young talent. So recently when I went to Israel, I had an interaction with the Office of Chief Scientist of Israel. They have their R&D industries and entrepreneurship. Actually arm of the Chief Scientist, we had a very good interaction, and we have decided that with their help, because that's one place where you have maximum number of startups and incubation centers. So we have decided to collaborate with them to have certain incubation centers and startups to be put in place in Maharashtra. Recently, we have decided to work with Mumbai University to have certain startups. We also want every college to have at least some initiatives for incubation centers. I think once we put it in place, also we have started a venture capital fund, which would, after these incubation centers and startups, the major requirement is equity funds. So we would also help through this venture capital fund. Yesterday only I had an agreement with SIDBI, and we have created a fund of 200 crores to help the young entrepreneurs. So we want the young entrepreneurs to work closely with the government. I think that very soon you will find such many initiatives being taken up by our government.
Thank you so much. I think I've been biased a little on the left side. I should move my perspective on the right side a little bit and take some questions from there. I see a question from His Excellency, the Ambassador of Turkey, Mr. Burak Akçabar, who was at a session yesterday. Your Excellency.
I'll come here so that you can
Yes,
see me.
absolutely.
If you allow me, I would like to start by congratulating the mothers to be, mothers who are not here on this International Mother's Day. This is the first Mother's Day that I'm having without my mother. She passed away last year, so it's very special for me. Over the couple of days before, Mr. Chief Minister, we've had very interesting sessions here. And of course, both you and I, not being women, we're not harbingers of change. But I must say that as for myself and my wife, now we have become harbingers of So I benefited tremendously in the last couple of days, but also today from your remarks. It was very interesting for me how you connected with the phenomenon of our day and age, the rise of the middle class. Your emphasis on non-VVIP culture, the functional approach to the security arrangements, not the symbolic side of it and everything else. And your energy as a politician is quite impressive. Of course, I see the same energy in New Delhi where I live. And in my meeting with the Honorable Prime Minister, the first thing he said to me is, more business, more trade, let's do it. I said, okay, where are all these excellencies and everything going? It's going where it should go. It's irrelevant. It's a lot of prefixes and suffixes that just distract you. I'm going to not ask a question, so leave space for the others, but just make a comment. Based on the 4 years that I've been living in India, the energy is most impressive, and the emphases are, of course, quite correct as far as I'm concerned. Two areas I would want to highlight from my experience, which tie into many things that we're trying to do, whether it's in Maharashtra or overall in India. One is, of course, the infrastructure. Neither Make in India nor anything else will fulfill their full potential unless we find an urgent solution to the infrastructure. basically, the average speed, for instance, on Indian roads is 20 kilometers per hour. In Turkey, it's 120 kilometers per hour. It affects everything, including tourism, which is the second issue I wanted to highlight. India receives only 7 million tourists a year. For the cradle of civilization that India is, this is an incredibly low number. Turkey receives 39 million tourists every year. It is equal to, given our population, India receiving close to 700 million tourists a year. That is the kind of burden that tourism brings on our infrastructure, our national infrastructure, and the country can handle it. So basically, I'm aware of your travels around the world. These are stops that we should make, but I think a more relevant experience, more relevant interaction would be going to Turkey. Because
Thank you.
for two reasons. 12 years ago, Turkey's per capita income was about the same as India's. Now it is 9 times of India's. 12 years. 12 years ago, Turkey's tourism was about 7-8 million. Now it's 39 million. We have done things that I think might be very relevant for you. So here's my invitation.
Thank you. I accept your invitation.
Usha Agarwal, she is also the past president of the FICCI Ladies Organization.
Sir, am I seeing a Chief Minister of Maharashtra crusading against corruption? Can you just throw some light on what are your plans for removing the corruption in Maharashtra?
In fact, corruption is one cancer which derails entire development process of our country and our state. So we have been doing series of initiatives we are taking, but the one initiative which I must mention, our state has recently enacted Right to Service Act, because high level corruption we always talk about, but a common man feels the heat of corruption at small levels. He actually engages with the government for small services, because after all, whether it is a government or a local government, a corporation or a Jilla Parishad, all of us are in a role of service providers. And the agony is that we don't provide service, not in time, not for proper cost, and actually that makes it, people talk against their government. So recently, we have enacted Right to Service Act, wherein we say that getting a service from government is right of people, and to give them service in proper time is duty of government. If a government officer erstwhile did not give service in right time, the person had no legal recourse. Now we say that every department will notify what services the department is giving, how much time would he require to give the service, what will be the cost of service, what are the papers required to give the service. All these 4 things will be notified by every department, and that notification is part of our law. And then if somebody applies and if he doesn't get a service in stipulated time at stipulated cost, then there is a whole framework we have created wherein he has a right to appeal, the person would be fined, and after certain the government official, after certain penalization, even if he goes on doing the same, he will be removed out of service. So I think, right, like the Right to Information Act has given a right to get the information, the Right to Service Act, once it gets matured, it would give the right to people to get the service, and at the same time, it will curb the corruption in the bureaucracy.
We have time for just 2-3 more questions before we wrap it up? I can see hands over there. So I will come to you. We'll have a question from Mr. Vijay Nayak, who is the editor of the newspaper Sakal from Delhi. Vijay ji.
Mr. Fadnavis, on 29th of April, you tweeted from Israel. And the tweet is here. It said you, Israel former President and former Prime Minister Shimon Peres agrees to mobilize Israeli technology to help reduce farmers' suicide. Well, I want to ask you, what is this technology, number one? And the second tweet which you did was that meeting with Netanyahu and Agriculture Minister Yair Shadi agreed for collaboration with Maharashtra to combat agrarian crisis in Vidarbha and Marathwada. Could you elaborate?
As we all know that on one hand, Maharashtra is most progressive state. On other hand, we are unfortunate to have most farmer suicides in few districts of Maharashtra. So we have decided to take it head on, and we have taken two districts as pilot districts which have witnessed most suicides in last 20 years. One is Yavatmal district and of Vidarbha, and other is Osmanabad district of Marathwada. And now what we have decided is to put in all our efforts into these two districts to come out with a proper solution. So when I met Mr. Shimon Peres, I urged him that the Peres Foundation, which takes so many initiatives worldwide, should collaborate with us, because Israel is one country which has excelled in agriculture on basis of technology. So I said, now we want this technology to be transferred to India. Already we have started certain initiatives recently at Nagpur. We have a collaborative citrus initiative with Israel, wherein they are helping us improving the quality of citrus fruit. So using their technology, the Shimon Peres Foundation would collaborate with us, would not only invest but also help us on ground to find the sustainable solutions for the agrarian crisis. At the same time, I also urged Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu that let's take this as a challenge, because since both of our country wants to have collaboration, then let's collaborate for humanity. Because I think if the farmers are committing suicides, there cannot be a big problem than that. That's the biggest problem. So with this collaboration, we would bring all the technologies which Israel is using in its country in agriculture to these two districts, and to monitor that. What I have done is, for every subdivision of the district, I have placed one principal secretary from my government. We would converge all the government schemes, and we will give the benefits of those schemes to the farmers in that subdivision, and that would be monitored by none less than a principal secretary. So all the initiatives of our government, of the central government, and of the Shimon Peres Foundation, of Israel government would be converged in these two districts, so that in next 2 years we make these districts suicide free. There will be no suicide, and if we are able to do it, I think then the replication is very easy.
Paresh Rugnani from UK, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, they say that some people make things happen, some people watch what happens, some people wonder what happened. So some people make things happen, some people watch what happens, some people wonder what happened. I think we can all see that you're a can man. You take the T out of account, and you make impossible into I am possible, basically. On behalf of all of us, I sincerely would like to say your presence here is worth more than any presence anyone could give. And you know, reminds me of a film from Mumbai to Goa, and I think that's what you've done here. My question was, I think you're a CEO, Chief Enthusiastic Officer, Chief Energetic Officer. That's great, great sense of humor, BJP, be jolly person. Anyway, to cut the story short, my question is, I always say winners never quit and quitters never win. What do you think is your sort of winning mantras, winning secrets of success? What keeps you sort of awake at night, or what gets you up in the morning? What's your motivation? Basically.
See, I am a person with mission. In my life, when I'm grateful to Amruta, but when we decided to marry, I told her, don't expect anything from me. And she has been kind enough not to expect anything from me. So I am a man with mission. I am there to make a change. The moment I feel that I'll not be able to make a change, I'll go home. I'm absolutely clear about that. So when you are on a mission, the mission gives you energy. It keeps you awake. And I feel that what I want to do is to just look at the face of the last man, and if I can make him smile, I think that is the biggest reward I can get in my life.
Kiranji, it can't happen. It can't happen that you're there in the audience and we don't insist that you please ask a question.
I think from Kiranji, I don't expect a question. I expect a suggestion.
The first woman IPS officer, the highest ranking IPS officer in the highest.
She can guide me.
I was enjoying listening to it. It's not so often, it's such a rare occasion where you can get a young, dynamic, somebody who you trust today, somebody the country respects fully. I think I was enjoying every word he was saying, so I will keep listening to him, okay? Thank you.
With that, Shalini, okay, this is the last question. We will just wrap up. Shalini Piramal will ask a question.
Respected Devendra ji, I would like to ask you that there has been a huge amount of money which has been stolen from irrigation in Maharashtra. How would you punish the guilty?
We've already started inquiry against them. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has started a massive inquiry initiative against all the culprits. And let me assure you that every single person, howsoever high placed he may be, he'll be absolutely brought to books. He'll have to pay